move. Sabi naman niya. Okay, so we are starting to record and welcome back again to our class discussion. And this time we will be talking about Jean Watson. And a while ago, I also sent you a link on on her works. And can someone tell me who is Jean Watson and her work all about? Any volunteer? What do you know about Jean Watson? Have you tried watching the video or have you tried reading about her? Or this is the first time that you will encounter Jean Watson? Hello? Can you hear me? Oh yeah, there you go, Ethan.
Um, Nursing is defined by caring po. Doon po sa nursing has embraced the theory of Gene Watson's caring science.
Oh,
It helps us to embrace the positive energy that flows from an integrated mind, body, and spirit, and is mutually rewarding to both the patient and the nurse po.
okay, awesome. Thank you for that one. So, Jean Watson's philosophy and science of caring, actually. Okay, thank you for that, Ethan. So let's go here. Oh, and here, philosophy and theory of transpersonal nursing. Um, Maybe it's the first time that you hear the word transpersonal, or maybe you heard this one before. And everything that we're going to talk today is all about this one. So here we also have your 10 curative factors and Watson's philosophy of human caring. So Watson's main concept include the 10 curative factors, which we're going to discuss later
Ang
on.
sumabog.
Hello? May sumabog?
Sir, sorry.
Okay, that's okay. Now, let's go here. Watson's expanded the curative factors to a closely related concept, the caritas, a Latin word which means to cherish, to appreciate, to give special attention, if not loving attention, and describe a transpersonal caring relationship as fundamental to her theory. It is a special kind of human care relationship that was mentioned a while ago, a union with another person, high regard for the whole person and their being in the world. So basically, this is the work of Gene Watson. So it's not just, you know, giving yourself or offering yourself physically with taking care of the person, but you also need to, you know, to put in mind the psychological, physical, spiritual, everything should be transpersonal. And let's go here. Let's go and read and learn the 10 curative factors and Caritas processes. And we're going to start with number one. Do we have a volunteer who wants to read and give his or her opinion about this one? It's okay to be short opinion. Every opinion is valid. Okay, anyone from the group? Do you have volunteers? Mm-hmm. The formation of a humanistic, altruistic system of values. Okay, we don't have volunteer here. Naririnig niyo pa ba ako?
Yes po.
Yes po.
Okay.
Yes
Okay then.
po.
So maybe I'll start here. if we say the formation of humanistic altruistic system values. So this one, actually nag-start ito at our very young age, on how our parents actually is giving us, or giving us values, sharing their experience to us. So doon pa lang nag-i-start na yung ating mind na mag-process kung ano ba itong mga humanistic on altruistic values na kailangan nating malaman as a child. So, nadidevelop ito with the values shared with our parents and also with our siblings, or with our godparents and our lolos and our lolas. So this one, they're saying that this will also mediated from their experiences. It's because we're still young. Kumbaga, blank canvas pa lang tayo, wala pa tayong kamuwang-muwang. And they're teaching us with this because or through their experiences. And with that, we are learning and gaining these things. And eventually, once we are being exposed with the experiences that they had, we already have, the thing in our mind, and we know how to adjust and adopt. And this one, of course, as we go older, our maturation of humanistic, altruistic value is also maturing. And this will actually promote more, um, you know, great, um, great partnership towards other people and our other team in the taking care of our patient. Okay, now how about the second curative factor? Okay, Ethan.
Um, the installation of faith, hope, being authentically present and enabling and sustaining the deep belief system and subjective life world of self and one being cared for. Dito po sa the installation of faith, hope, um, incorporation of individual cultural faith traditions in assisting patients dun po, with the acceptance of current health status is a part of providing holistic care, and individualizing patient care will facilitate the promotion of positive health between the nurse and the patient.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this one, it says here that when the modern science has nothing further to offer the person, the nurse can continue to use the faith and hope, especially if the patient is on his or her terminal stage, maybe of cancer, or the doctor will give them the bad news that, oh, we cannot do anything about this one. Um, we cannot do anything about your sickness or your disease already. The nurse should always be there, to hear the sentiments of our patient. You should always be the helping hand, the crying shoulder of our patient, and still we should give them faith and hope about them, so that they will feel good or better. Now, how about the third one? The cultivation. Yes, Fatima.
The cultivation of sensitivity to oneself and to others, cultivation of one's own personal practices and transpersonal self going beyond the ego. Sir, in my opinion po, it talks about being able to open oneself to others po. Parang yung nurses po, they are not just doing their job. I mean, hindi lang po sila nag-aalaga ng mga patients just for the sake of it po, of their profession, but because they genuinely care for their patients as well. And I believe that striving to become sensitive makes the nurse more authentic, which encourages self-growth and self-actualization po.
Okay. Very nice answer about this one, the cultivation of sensitivity to oneself and others. Actually, kahapon, sabi ng isang estudyante ko, Sir, minsan hindi lang tayo yung nurse ng ating mga pasyente. Minsan po nagiging kaibigan din po natin sila. Kasi nga tayo dapat yung nakakaintindi sa kanila. And we should yung pagiging open natin sa kanila kasi lagi din nila tayong nakikita or nakakausap, parang yung gumagaan po yung pakiramdam nila. So that's the explanation of the student yesterday. And this time, Fatima said that um, being open to your patient or to other healthcare member, it can give you an opportunity actually to grow and to expand your horizon. Like, this is also why what I always tell to my former students that you should always be teachable or coachable. Okay, and you should always give the benefit of the doubt to other people by not judging them, abruptly with the things that they know. It's because if we are sensitive to something, it means that we are caring for that person. Like if you are working already in abroad or here locally, you work with different sets of people with different backgrounds, and we should always adjust uh, with those kind of circumstances, like people who are white, who are black or Muslim. We should be sensitive with the things that they're doing. Also, it's because it is new to us. It doesn't mean that it is wrong. Okay. So that is all about the cultivation of sensitivity to oneself and to others. How about the fourth one? Okay, Kevin, domicilio.
Development of health and trust relationship became development of health and trust human caring relation, or developing, sustaining, helping, trusting, authentic, caring relationship. So sa pagkakaintindi ko po dito ay kailangan po natin ng trust from between the nursing and the patient po. Kasi alam naman po natin na hindi po madaling mag-trust, lalo na po pag hindi pa ating kilala yung tao. Pero kapag nagkaroon po tayo ng building of trust, nagkakaroon po ng better communication, tapos yung patient po ay magiging honest po sa inyo and comfortable po when they talking to you po. Yun lang po.
Okay, very good explanation about this one, Kevin. The establishing a self-trust relationship. You know, it will all start this process by introducing yourself to your patient. Like, good morning, my name is Nurse JV, and I'm gonna be your nurse until 3 p.m. today. And whatever needs that you like or you want, I am always here available for you. By just merely introducing yourself and saying your name to your patient, that's the time that you are already establishing rapport and trust to your patient. And that is very crucial um, in doing your nursing care plan. It's because sabi nga niya kanina, it's always a two-way process that the nurse and the patient should always have a trusting relationship. It's because the patient is trusting his or life to the nurse, and the nurse is trusting his or job to the patient, something like that. So it will always boils down to introducing yourself and establishing rapport. So with this one, you will have a nicer and congruent relationship. You are becoming more emphatic to your patient. Like if your patient will trust you, he or she will say things to you, and that's the time that you will become emphatic. You will be putting yourself to his or her situation, and there will be having a good partnership. Okay, thank you very much for that one, Kevin. And let's move here to the fifth one. This one is the promotion of acceptance. Yes, Fatima again.
The promotion and acceptance of the expression of positive and negative feelings. Being present to and supportive of the expression of positive and negative feeling as a connection with deeper spirit and self and the one being cared for. Sir, as you said a while ago, nurses are not only uh, is not only nurse, parang hindi lang po sila yung nagki-care for you, pero they can also be your friend po. And in here, it says na uh, parang in my opinion po, it talks about learning how to understand where the patient is coming from po, yung mga emotions po nila, kung uh, kung ano po uh, yung nararamdaman nila about their situation and as such po. Because I believe that kapag uh, naiintindihan ng nurse yung situation, yung nararamdaman ng patient nila sa situation nila, it helps the nurse to uh, be more understanding towards the patient situation po.
Okay, thank you for that. So yeah, it's actually with that explanation, this curative process will do. You know, being aware. If you have that kind of awareness and also sensitivity on how are you going to express your feelings and attitudes into certain things, it's because according to Watson, she said that feelings alter thoughts and behavior, and they need to be considered and allowed for caring relationship. So uh, in expressing our feelings, we, either it can be positive or negative. We should uh, we should see to it first that will this affect my patient? If I will say this to my patient, will this affect her thought process? Or you ask yourself first, what if pag sinabi sa akin yung ganito, ano kayang mararamdaman ko? What if I will say this to my patient, malulungkot kaya ako or what? Something like that. So you should always be aware and sensitive about these things. Okay. How about number 6? Ethan.
Um, the scientific use of the systematic use of the scientific problem solving method for decision making became systematic use of a creative problem solving caring process. Creative use of self and all ways of knowing as part of the caring process to engage in the artistry of caring healing practices. Um, for me po, in this, the systematic use of the scientific problem solving method for decision making, it allows for control and prediction po dun sa mga problems, the illness of the patient, ganun po, and it permits self-correction po. The science of caring should not be always neutral and objective po. Kailangan po may certain ways po tayo para po isolve po yung mga certain problems of the patient, and we should not always be neutral um, about it po, and of course we should not be negative about it, and maghanap pa tayo ng iba't ibang ways for the solution of the problem.
Okay, thank you for that thorough explanation about this one, about the systematic use of scientific problem solving, method of decision making. A while ago, I already introduced to you the process of nursing care plan, where you should be following steps. So whenever you hear systematic use of scientific problem solving, there's always steps in doing these things. So from assessing to diagnosing until evaluation, we should be following that one. And sabi nga ni Ethan kanina, there are also other ways how to do these things or how to solve our problems with regards to our patient. So we should not be merely focusing on other systems, but we should also be utilizing or developing other ways so that we can meet the standards of giving care to our patients. Okay, thank you for that. How about number 7? The promotion of transpersonal teaching learning. Okay, Fatima.
Promotion of transpersonal teaching learning. Engaging in genuine teaching learning experience that attends to unity of being and meaning, attempting to stay within others' frame of reference. Sir, in my opinion po, this talks about uh, yung nurses po, they are not only there to guide their patients towards their recovery po, their complete recovery, but they are also there to learn about the patients, kung ano po yung mga gusto nila or kung ano po yung mga pwede at bawal sa kanila, kung ano po ah, yung pasok sa ano po nila. Hindi lang po bigay po ng bigay kung ano yung dapat kung na ano na cognitive plan. Pero uh, kailangan po yung mga nurses po is they should learn how to understand their patient's perception of the situation, because I believe that it helps the nurse to prepare a more defined and cognitive plan na sang-ayon po sa patient niya and sa way po ng nurse, because it helps them become one and they form a bond and uh, parang nagkakaroon po sila ng unity. Ganun po yung pagkakaintindi ko.
Okay, that's awesome. So here, you mentioned a while ago that it's not merely focusing on certain things, but sabi na nga dito, if you focus on learning the learning process, it's like learning your patient, taking all the data, the things that he or she is saying to you. That's the time that you will be planning your healthcare, and eventually you will be teaching your patient with the health with the nursing care plan that you did from her, from learning or from getting the things that she mentioned. So just like that, so it's like more on interpersonal teaching and learning. And a while ago also I told you that we should always be teachable and coachable. And what if the other healthcare team member is suggesting something? We should also be open to that. And what if someone really wants to talk about something, like wants to talk about a um, certain practice that they want to do? So we should always be open to that, and interpersonal learning and teaching. Okay, how about number 8? Oh, I'm sorry. It should be here. There you go. So this one is the provision of supportive, protective, or corrective mental, physical, sociocultural, and spiritual environment. Okay, here in provision of supportive, protective, and corrective mental, these are actually the things that we usually provide to our patients, and we already know these things if we were going to learn the nursing process. So we will be giving these things to our patients. However, in providing these things, we should always put in mind the privacy of the patient. What if the patient doesn't want or to be treated like this? We should always honor that one. And what if the patient would like to talk about his or her death, or what will happen if he or she will die? We should always go and support to his or her decision. Okay, and with these things we can always, and we should always put in mind, especially if the dying patients would like to seek guidance from a priest or someone that she wants to have a clear conscience before he die. He wants to have a um, spiritual well-being state before he or she die. We should always be supportive with those kind of things. So that is all about your number 8. And how about our number 9? Yes, Ethan.
The assistant with gratification gratification of human needs, assisting with basic needs with an intentional caring consciousness, administering human care essentials, which potentiate alignment of mind, body, spirit, wholeness, and unity of being in all aspects of care. Um, ang point po dito is for us nurses, we need to recognize the orders of needs such as food, yung pagkain po, the ventilation, the environment, the organization of the supplies that the patient needs, the elimination before they can advance to higher psychophysical and psychosocial needs, allowing for gratification of human needs, both emotional and physical for the patients po.
Okay, so yeah, so it says here the assistance with gratification of human needs. It's because if you're familiar with Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, our um, our priority there should be the air, water, and food in order for a human being to survive. And next to that is the house, the shelter, and clothing. And before, sabi nga ni Ethan kanina, before you go and elevate yourself from having other hierarchy of needs, and the highest one is your self-actualization. So with this thing, we should not be depriving our patients with this, and we should always be grounded with this hierarchy of needs. Kung ano lang yung pinakakailangan muna ng ating pasyente so that we can go steps by steps. And how about, is that the last one? The last one here is opening the allowance of existential phenomenological forces. Anyone who wants to? Yes, Fatima.
The allowance for existential phenomenological forces became allowance for existential phenomenological spiritual forces, opening and attending to spiritual, mysterious, and existential dimensions of one's own life and death, soul care for self and the one being cared for. Sir, in my own opinion po, it talks about the patient and the nurses being one or um, having unity po towards the patient's life and death situation. It means po na yung nurse po, ina-assist niya po yung patient niya to find the strength or courage to confront life or death.
Mhm.
Yun.
Okay, very good. So it's like if the patient really wanted to talk about that or what, simply just go and go and listen to him or her, like, and value his or her wishes. And that is the allowance of the existential phenomenological forces. Okay, so I want you to familiarize with these 10 curative factors and the Caritas processes. Okay, so here, um, the major assumption for Watson is Watson calls for joining of science and humanities so that the nurses have a strong liberal arts background and understand other cultures as requisite for using caring science and a mind body spiritual framework. So she's like saying that it's not merely the use of science, but also, you as human being, you should also incorporate these things uh, in order for us to have a better and stronger and effective nursing care to our patients. So the result is honoring of I thou relationship rather than I it relationship. And here's also the meta paradigm for Watson's work. Kindly read your book with on this part, and maybe I will just be sending materials for this one. It's because it's almost 11 here, and we need to talk first here with Patricia Banner. Okay, anyone familiar with Patricia Banner? Have you Have you learned something about her before or not yet? Well, let's go here. So Patricia Benner. So she has this caring clinical wisdom and ethics in nursing practice, the primacy of caring model, as well as the from novice to expert model. So how are you? This is she how categorizes the nurses on their kind of level. So from novice and then eventually to advance until they become expert. And we'll be learning these things here. So she said here that caring is central to human experience, to caring and to healing. Persons, events, projects, and things matter to people. Yeah, these things are matters to us. People, events, projects, or you know, um, and also our work matter to us. Caring is primary for the following reasons. What matters to people set up only what counts as stressful, but also what options are available for coping. Also, it enables a person to notice salient aspect of particular situation, to discern problems, and to recognize potential solutions. And lastly, it sets up possibilities for giving and receiving help. So this is all about the work of Patricia Banner. And there are 5 levels of skill acquisition and development, and we're going to talk them one by one. Okay, any volunteer to read Novice? Yes, Ethan.
Novice. The person has no background experience of the situation in which he or she is involved. This level applies to students of nursing, but Benner has suggested that nurses at higher levels of skill in one area of practice could be classified at the novice level if placed in an area or situation completely foreign to them, such as moving from general medical surgical adult care to neonatal intensive care units.
Okay, thank you for that. So here, Novice, ito yung pinaka-umpisa or pinakaunang level na describe nitong si Patricia Benner. And sinasabi niya dito, yung this will apply to you guys as a student of nursing, okay, or student nurses. So you are all novice as of the moment. It's because you're still learning all the concepts, all the skills, and also the proper attitude of becoming a professional nurse. However, she's suggesting here na kahit registered nurse ka na, tapos kung matratransfer ka sa ibang ward or marurotate ka sa ibang ward, you will still be considered novice. What if you are newly grad and then you started example sa OB ward, and ito yung naging expertise mo for 3 months, and then eventually from OB ward, i-rotate ka sa medical ward. With that sense, Banner is trying to say that the rotation should be, and the nurse should also be considered as novice. It's because everything is still new adjustment, and new kinds of patient. So that is all about your novice. Now let's move here about how about advanced beginner? Okay. I haven't heard the voices of other people here. How about Erica Soriano? Are you here?
Yes po, sir.
Okay, there you go. Can you read this one?
Advanced beginner. The advanced beginner stage in the diffuse model develop when the person can demonstrate marginally acceptable performance, having coped with enough real situation to note or to have pointed out by a mentor the recurring meaningful components of the situation. Nurses functioning at this level are guided by rules and are oriented by task completion. They have difficulty grasping the current patient situation in terms of the larger perspective. Newly graduate nurses.
Okay, thank you for that, Erica. So here, so kanina, sinabi ni Benner na novice is applicable to student nurses, and in advanced beginner, it is applicable to newly graduate nurses. Why is that? It's because you already completed learning and acquiring knowledge and skills to becoming a nurse. So you are somewhat advanced beginner. She said here that the advanced beginner has enough experience to grasp aspects of the situation. So it means you already have an idea because you are already exposed to this kind of situation. Okay, so this is all about your advanced beginner. How about competent? Okay, I'm gonna choose here. Okay, John Darrell, Rosario also.
Share component through learning from actual practice situations and by following the action of others. The advanced beginner moves to the competent level. Is most pivotal in clinical learning because the learner must begin to recognize patterns and determine which elements of the situation warrant attention and which can be ignored.
Okay. So here in competent, it means that you're already cultivated with what is happening in your respective wards. It means that you are already observing, the your supervisor or the staff nurse that are already there. It means you have already idea and you can already perform um, many nursing procedures. So there it's because here you actually have the picture of what you're going to do already. Then that is already your competent. Competent. And here, how about the next one? Proficient. Okay. Um, Arwin Mac Prado, are you here? Arwin? Nandito ka ba, Arwin? Oh, mukhang wala ata si Arwin. How about let's try Jamaica Quinto.
Yes, sir.
Okay, kindly read this one. Proficient.
Proficient perceives the situation as whole, has an intuitive grasp of a situation based on background understanding. It demonstrates a new ability to see changing relevance in a situation, including recognition and implementation of skilled responses to the situation as it evolves.
Okay. Um, what can you say about this one? About this proficient, Jamaica?
Sir, uh, you know what to do in a given situation.
Okay, so it's like kapag sinabi nila or kunwari may dumating na nag-arrest or half of your duty is relaxed or benign, then eventually may nag-arrest na pasyente. Yung hindi ka na magpapanic, you're not already in the anxiety level, it's because you already know what to do. Like, you've practiced this one, you observe people doing these things, you learn these things, this concept on what to do first, and then who to call, and then what are the procedures that you're going to do. So this one, you're already a proficient. Okay, thank you for that. And how about the last one here? Expert. Okay, how about, okay, someone raise his hand. Um, Ira. Dito ba si Ira? Ira Abelia? Oh, I think she's not here. Okay, Lian. Let's go to you, Lian.
Expert, demonstrating a clinical grasp and resource-based practice, possessing embodied know-how, seeing the big picture, seeing the unexpected.
Mm-hmm. So expert, from the word itself, you're already expert. Yung expert nurse as having an intuitive grasp of the situation and as being able to identify the region of the problem without losing time considering a range of alternative diagnosis and solution. Even though it's a saddened or you know saddened sudden situations that things happens like you have very limited time, very limited resources. If you're already on this level, you're already expert, you already know what to do and you already know what to utilize. Even though there are scarcity of things and maybe scarcity of people as well, you already know what to do. And on this, these are the levels on how Benner categorizes um, nurses from novice to advanced beginner, competent, proficient, and also expert. Okay, and let's move here. So here, these are the Brenner 7 domains of nursing practice as follows. So the helping role, healing relationship, providing comfort measures. You already know these ones. These are the things that we will usually do with our patient to provide comfort measures. Teaching coaching function, I always emphasize we should always be coachable. uh, we should not put in our mind that we know everything. Even though you already know the concept, you should be very open of learning it again. Maybe the thing that you've learned before is not actually correct. So we should always be coachable. And the diagnostic and patient monitoring function, ongoing assessment and anticipating outcomes. These are the things also that we're going to do. Again, in the nursing process that will start in your assessment, diagnosis, um, planning, implementation, and then evaluation. Effective management of rapidly changing situation or crisis situation. With this one, it's especially if we are just being exposed with this kind of situation, we need to observe the things that people are doing, and eventually we can now adjust and adapt with this changes. Administering and monitoring therapeutic intervention and regimens preventing complications. Of course, these are the things that we should do. And you will be learning more about therapeutic communication, how to deal with patients, how to properly talk with your patients, and of course, in how are we going to prevent complications. Next one is monitoring and ensuring the quality of healthcare practices, safety, quality improvement, collaboration, consultation with physicians. This one, bear in mind also always that we are team in terms of dealing with patients. We have the doctors, the dietitian, medtech, pharmacists, and the nurses. So whatever observation that you observe or you noted to your patient, you should always inform the physician. This is what we always do before in the private area of the hospital in Region 1. Like, Doc, yung pasyente, ganito po pala yung nangyari. Ganyan. Then we always inform our APs, attending physician. Kapag walang reply and then you think that there is really something wrong, you go down to the ward and you look for the resident doctors, or you go to emergency room and refer your patient so that the doctor will order things or will go and see the patient. Next is organizational and work role competencies, priority setting, team building, coordinating, and providing for continuity. It is always awesome to work if we are okay with one another. If there are no grudges, there are no inggitan sa ward, sa duty, sa schedule, it is always very good to work if these things will be prevented. And providing for continuity, maybe this one is if you want to, continue your education, not just merely on getting your master's and also your PhD. So are we clear on this part?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
awesome. Okay, major assumptions. Please read this one on your book and on the material that I'm going to send it to you so that we can go here with um, Katie Erickson. So, creative theory of caritative caring, caritas. It means your love and charity, and also your eros and agape. If you're familiar with this one, the unconditional love, it is Greek words, your eros and agape. And the fundamental motive of caring science, also motive for all caring. Caring is an endeavor to mediate faith, hope, and love through tending and playing and learning. So this is the concept of Katie Erickson. I'm going to start here. Can someone read and briefly explain the caring communion? Oh, how about here? Al Vincent. Are you here? Al Vincent?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you read this part? Caring communion.
Caring communion requires meeting in space and absolute lasting presence, characterized by intensity and vitality, warmth, closeness, rest, respect, honesty, and tolerance. It cannot be taken for granted, but presupposes a conscious effort to be with the other. Source of strength and meaning is caring. In this relationship, the individual perceives the other person's possibilities as if they were his or her own.
Okay, very good. So here in your caring communion requires meeting in space. So it means that two people will meet each other maybe for a date, and then that's the time that you will be starting communicating with one another, and then maybe there will be closeness, and that's the time that you will be assessing each other if, oh, maybe this person is right for me, or maybe this person is not. So here it says that in this relationship the individuals perceive the other person's possibility if they were his or her own. So, you know, if, well, maybe this person is not really for me, or maybe this person is, maybe there's a potential that we will become together. So this is, in caring communion. But right now, this is not recommendable. It's because we should always stay in our houses, and let's prevent going outside. Okay, maybe you can use this caring communion if the pandemic is already over. Okay, how about the next one? Dignity and suffering human being. Okay, anyone who wants to read? Yes, Ethan.
Dignity constitutes one of the basic concepts of caritative caring ethics. A human being's absolute dignity involves the right to be confirmed as a unique human being by Erickson in 1988. Suffering
Oh,
human being, patience, patience in Latin, which means suffering. The patient is a suffering human being who suffers and patiently endures.
okay, thank you for that. Now let's go back. Ethan, what is your perception here about dignity?
Dignity po. Like, for me po, dignity, um, your dignity as a person, like what I said here, it involves the right to be considered as a human, as a unique human being. So po, bawat po tayo, bawat nurses po may dignity in which they have their own ability as a nurse. Their dignity represents their, like what I said, their ability to take care of the patients, which in the next topic, which is the suffering human being, um, it is connected with the dignity of the nurse po.
Okay, thank you for that, Ethan. Fatima. What is your perception of dignity?
Sir, for me po, dignity is not only applicable to the nurses but also to the patients as well. Because um, before becoming a nurse and the patient, they are human being first, and uh, they have the right to be confirmed as a human being, as said here. I believe that in the case of the patient po, they have the right to decide. Uh, I mean, they have the right to decide kung ano po yung pwedeng mangyari or what. And uh, para sa akin po, uh, paano ba? Para sa akin po, like in the act of euthanasia, for example,
Mhm.
yung patient po yung magkakaroon dapat ng decision na kung they will go through it po ba or hindi. Therefore, yun nga po, parang dignity po is parang pagbibigay po ng kalayaan to decide on what option they are willing to take po.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And Myra, you're raising your hand.
Sir, based on my perception po, dignity, sir, is connected with our conscience. Yung
Okay.
ability po na, yes, sir. Like in ethics po, sir, we have the ability to distinguish the right and wrong, ganun po, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Yan.
Okay, very good. How about the others? Do you have reinforcement of what is dignity all about? Oh, I think no more. So yeah, so that is all of to sum up all the things that you have said. Yeah, that is the dignity. So as human being, absolute dignity involves the right to be confirmed as unique human being. So we all have the rights to, uh, to to be treated fairly. It's because we are unique, and we should be treated fair. And sabi nga nila kanina, we have the right to do what is right and to avoid what is wrong. Okay. And here, theory of caritative caring. The axioms are the fundamental truth in relation to the conception of the world, and the axioms are as follows. So, if you're going to read these bullets, they are actually self-explanatory already. The human being is fundamentally an entire body, soul, and spirit. The human being is fundamentally a religious being. A human being is fundamentally holy, and communion is the basis for all humanity. Caring is something human by nature, a call to serve in love. Suffering is an inseparable part of life. Health is more than the absence of illness, and the human being lives in a reality that is characterized by misery and infinity and eternity. So if you're going to read these axioms here, you will already have idea, or you can actually just explain these things to yourself. So that this is the theory, these are the axioms. And assumptions, these are as follows. Help means a movement in becoming, being, and doing while striving for wholeness and holiness, which is compatible with endurable suffering. Caring implies alleviation of suffering in charity, love, faith, and hope. And her assumptions are here also in terms of nursing, environment, human being, and health. So you will just be, you can actually just go on with your book and read that part there